This is News 6 Tonight. Good evening to you and welcome to a little show we call News 6 Tonight. Glad to have you with us. This is a casual look at the news from your Central Florida news anchors. I'm Matt Austin.
And I'm Ginger Gadsden. Thank you so much for joining us tonight and making time for making this your streaming destination to kind of catch up on some of the day's news. And today's news has been horrific. And it started last night with breaking news at 11 o'clock. We had our reporter out in Edgewater talking about an off-duty police officer. And when we heard the details of how he was shot and how many times he was shot, we're like, what is happening? Are those accurate numbers we're hearing? And we're talking about Officer David Jewell with the Edgewater Police Department. He was in a Circle K store in Ormond by the Sea, just off duty, buying some hot dogs and something to drink. And there is a clerk who works there, and the two men know each other. And this clerk, apparently, according to the details, went out to his car, came back into the store with a gun, and unloaded whatever kind of gun that was into this man at a very close range. I don't want to say point blank, but very close. And we've got surveillance video of it all. Our community correspondent Molly Reed has been covering this story, and she has the latest.
I went inside to get something to eat or get some chips, and there's a guy right there in the door dead.
That 911 call from a witness brought deputies to the Ormond by the Sea Circle K Monday afternoon.
To watch the evil and the calculatingness of what he did to Officer Jewell, you cannot describe it.
You see him raise the gun before shooting Jewell 24 times.
That gun was bought to assassinate Police Officer Jewell for whatever reason this guy was thinking.
During their investigation, deputies found out Machado picked the gun up yesterday, just 2 hours before this shooting. He told deputies he had a bad day and had previously thought about shooting Jewell.
He said that he had an argument with Police Officer Jewell.
Jewell's wife told deputies their family often stopped at the Circle K since it was right by their house. A family member actually called her saying something happened at the store.
She then, Elizabeth, his wife, who used to be a dispatcher for us, goes and gets his police radio and turns it on and is listening live to everything that's going on.
Terrible.
It is such the details. And then, and you can see the whole surveillance video. We didn't play it, obviously, but the way Sheriff Chitwood described it is like once the guy was down on the ground, this man apparently reloaded.
Yeah,
and
like
standing,
drops the magazine, puts a new magazine
standing
in.
over him and unloaded the gun again. And you heard Molly say 24 times. And it's exhausting talking about these stories because now you have a wife who's widowed and a son who is fatherless now. And these are the details that people sometimes forget and don't think about when you have stories like this one. And for him to say he didn't know he was a cop, it doesn't matter who this man was. He was a person in the community. And they still are trying to figure out why he would commit such a horrific crime, because it does seem like, to use a word, and no pun intended, overkill. It was one of those things. It's
Like
just
one of those
egregious.
crimes of passion. And when I see the video, which we have up right now,
He looks like he's
he
smirking in
looks
that video.
so casual. He does look like, it's hard to tell with a mustache and
Yeah, but
beard,
still.
but he does look oddly calm and
Yeah.
almost giddy.
And he said he had a bad day, and that he had thought about shooting Mr. Officer Jewell earlier in the day or something, and just something just snapped. Mental health is real.
Yeah.
And I just urge, and I talked to a woman who was out there, and she was saying that first responders really suffer when they lose somebody in the community. And you could see that because they all showed up, and they would just sit on this bench, or they would sit on the fence that was surrounding the Edgewater Police Department, and they would just stare at Officer Jewell's cruiser. And I think, and I don't know, I'm not in their head, I don't know what they're thinking, but I sometimes, you're like, if you're an officer, you're like, that could have been me.
I'm sure that's what they all think.
It
Yeah.
could have been
I saw
me.
in one of your live shots, it looked like the fire department was there supporting them and giving them hugs.
Yeah, all the first responders really pull together, and they support one another and lift one another up. But the most important thing to remember now is that think about this family, that mom and her son who, have lost Officer Jewell and their family. He's no longer a member of this community. And it's a small community. And chances are, if you called, if something happened at your house, he would be the person who would show up. So a lot of people know him. And even the people who didn't know him were showing up to put flowers on that memorial.
Speaking of mental health, I cannot imagine the guy who put in that 911 call who walks in to
In
buy
the
some
door,
snacks,
yeah.
and then you see Officer Jewell laying there and what has to, I mean, sheriffs have seen everything. Mike Chitwood in particular has seen everything. For him to be shocked by what happened in this case, I would imagine, I hope that gentleman who had to call 911 and stumble across that scene gets some therapy as well. But it's going to be, we're hoping to, over the next days and weeks, really
more
hammer
answers.
down on
Yeah.
why this happened. Was it just a flip of the switch, or was there more to the story?
I
We
mean, it
just
won't
don't know.
bring Officer Jewell back, but it will. I think sometimes just knowing what happened
Some sort of
gives you some kind of peace, and you can kind of figure out, okay, and I get it. But I now I have an answer as to why something like that
doesn't
would
make
happen.
sense.
No, it'll never make sense.
Right now, and a lot of people are still dealing with what they watched on the internet last week as we saw the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Many of us stumbled upon that on the internet, whether you intended to or not. And then the vitriol that has followed on social media has been the news story that we're covering, because people are making, in some cases, insensitive remarks about Charlie Kirk's assassination. And then many of them are getting fired. Those remarks are blasted out online so everybody knows who they are. So we had an interesting story today in relation to that narrative. So there was a business owner in Melbourne who posted some insensitive remarks about the Charlie Kirk assassination. She quickly regrets it, deletes the post. But as soon as you post something like that, people
It's out there
screenshot it,
forever. Yeah.
and you realize it. Well, today she's apologizing. Again, she got rid of the post, and the mayor of that town says he is going to name the street in front of her business Charlie Kirk Lane. And she says, I'm good with that. And he went to her business today. They hugged, and James Barbero, our community correspondent, has that story.
Mayor Paul Alfrey is proposing to rename this part of the street to Charlie Kirk Lane. The mayor points out in his Facebook post that the owner of this seafood market here on the street made these comments after Kirk's assassination. Kaylee Lamb told me she's sorry for what she said.
I can't imagine what his wife is going through.
And then once the mayor got here, he told reporters he accepts her apology.
And I wanted to come here and just have a talk with you and let you know that I'm going to support your business and everything that I can do.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Kaylee told me it's true what she wrote, but says she did so impulsively after she watched one of Charlie Kirk's videos she disagreed with. What would you say to those who traditionally say this is an honor reserved for politicians and dignitaries?
Charlie Kirk is kind of ahead of his time. He did create one of the largest youth movements and got them engaged in politics and in discussion and dialogue.
Yeah, at the end of that story, they actually hug. He buys some of her stuff, and it's basically the mayor saying, hey, We all make mistakes.
Why don't we have more of that? Because here's the deal. You can think what you want to think, but we live in a society where you should be able to express exactly how you feel. I don't have to like it. You don't have to like it, but you have to respect it. And all you have to do is listen. And sometimes if you listen, you can learn something about somebody else's viewpoint, but you can't silence them because we live in a country where we get free speech, and it doesn't come without consequences.
Yeah,
of
free
course.
speech definitely has its limits. If
It
you
really
say, and
does,
what she
but
said was
it was
pretty
bad. It was
terrible,
bad. But this
in
mayor
fact.
came, and now they are talking. That's my point. Is they're engaged. They're talking. The minute you stop talking and you want somebody else to shut their pie hole because you don't like what they're saying, that's when you've lost me. That's when you've lost everyone in
Yeah,
this
I just wanted to be
society.
clear. You weren't saying that what she said was okay. You were just
Not at
saying
all.
it's
No.
just nice that they came together.
Communicating and
She
discussing it.
apologized. She
Just
said, "Hey, that was
yeah, what she said was
irrational
awful.
thing." Yeah,
What she said, he is allowed to say exactly what he wants to say,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't have to like it, you don't have to agree with it.
Yes.
But he gets to say it.
right.
That's just the freedom of America.
Yeah, this is true, and hopefully it would be nice if an open dialogue, which is what Charlie Kirk
I
was
just
searching for.
wish people
That's
were
what
like
happened in that
just,
story, which
Just
was
hear
nice to
the other
see.
person out.
Yeah.
Just hear him out.
Yeah.
That's all we're asking. Anyway, it's still I just love that the mayor went there and was extended a
He's
handshake.
basically saying it's okay to forgive her. Which,
Wow, what a revelation.
No, we
I
don't
was
see that
out in
much.
Edgewater and I did not see this story, and I'm glad I needed that story tonight.
Yeah.
I really did. All right, moving on to another story that no one needs. Our community correspondent Catherine Silver, she covers Seminole County, and she has been dealing with awful stories this week, and it's just Tuesday.
she's on that funky beat this week.
Well, now we're talking about a sewage spill in Oviedo that should have never happened. And the mayor, Megan Sladek, is really upset about how and why it happened. I think they were digging some sort of pipe for reclaimed water or something, and then they dug into something else. I'll let the community
expensive pipe.
correspondent, Catherine Silver, explain what happened.
I'm Catherine Silver in Oviedo, where there are more than 80 water and stormwater projects, things the city either wants to fix or is actively working to fix. This is one of them. It's a project that's happening right across from the Aquatic Center, where construction is underway to extend a reclaimed water line. This work being done by a contractor is what caused a sewage spill. It's spelled out in this document from the Florida Department of Environmental Protection that says over 23,000 gallons of sewage polluted this area on September 10th.
At this point, there's a policy decision made. Here comes this giant reclaimed water pipe, and they hit a sewage line on the way.
Mayor Megan Sladek voted against the project in the first place.
I think the entire city has noticed that the medians are growing quite abundantly without the irrigation that has actually been installed. At this time, there is no definite plan to add any additional landscaping.
The grass is green here, but there's another green the commission had to consider when they did approve this project: cash.
We could pass on this or not, but I think in the future we'll be doing it again, and again it'll be more expensive.
Right?
I'm sorry. We're paying too close attention to the story. I'm like, was
The
that
bill.
a $50
It's kind
bill?
of random. Catherine's rolling
I've
big.
seen a $50 bill. But of that 23,000 gallons of sewage that spilled, do you know how much they recovered? Zero.
Oh, good.
They recovered none of it.
All to get reclaimed water to medians that are already green, and they spent $1 million on that thing. Man,
Frustrating, isn't it?
isn't that just the way government
Throwing
seems to
good
operate?
money after
these
bad.
days?
I don't know, or however the saying goes. It's just awful. But
Yeah.
poor Catherine, I hope she gets a really nice and not smelly
I know.
story for
Maybe
tomorrow.
we'll send her to the potpourri store. Do they still have those? Send her to Bath and Body Works tomorrow.
No.
There's a big story out there, Catherine. All right,
Oh
we
my
have a lot
gosh.
more coming for you, including a robbery that will give Ocean's 11 a little run for its money. We started hearing about this crazy story yesterday. We finally got the details that we were hoping for today out of Disney Springs. We'll check in on that story coming up after the break. Welcome to News 6 Tonight. We are so thankful that you're joining us here wherever you found us.
Yeah, you know what this tells me? If you have made this your new streaming destination, it tells me you're smart. Also good looking, because you chose to watch the news in a different way. That makes you really smart. anybody can give you the news from a teleprompter or an old newspaper. We do it in a fresh new way.
That's right. So check us out wherever you like to stream. We have this app for your TV, News 6 Plus. You can find it on Roku and Amazon and whatever your smart TV is cooking. So thank you. We would love to hear your comments down below.
My gosh. Yeah.
And then we'll show them.
Yeah, we will. News 6 Plus. The plus is you.
Ooh.
Hey, welcome back to News 6 Tonight, everyone. It has been an interesting show so far, and it's going to get even more interesting. One of my favorite new correspondents here is a photojournalist who has been here for a long time, and he is one of my, I gush over him all
He's
the
one
time.
of the best people in this entire building, maybe in the world.
As a
He's
human
just a
being
sweet soul.
and as a professional person, he's a
great.
delight to work with. And I find that whenever he does a story about the environment or nature, it is always worth watching. Paul Giorgio is his name. He's probably mad that I'm talking about him right now.
He's a
But-
very shy guy.
He's very shy, but
super talented.
Boom, that part. He's so talented. But, you know, he did a story on the Indian River Lagoon and its experience, the algae blooms and the fish kills and the loss of seagrass. And that's really important to this area. Now there's a major source that pollution is being redirected. Here's Paul Giorgio.
For more than 100 years.
It's all dirty.
Drainage from homes, roads, and agriculture west of town has made its way through the creek on its way to the Indian River Lagoon. That was until earlier this month when the Crane Creek M1 Canal Flow Restoration Project came online. The main feature of the $23 million project is this weir. It controls the water depth, essentially pushing it back towards the west. But engineers didn't build the weir just anywhere. You may not realize it, but there's a ridge that runs the length of Brevard County.
So historically, the water west of this area would have gone to the St. Johns River, and east of here would have gone to the Indian River Lagoon.
That was until the 1920s, when a canal was dug through the ridge. From that point on, everything, including harmful nutrient-rich runoff, drained east into the lagoon. And all that water eventually ends up here at the stormwater treatment facility just west of I-95. That's where it's cleaned before being released into a marsh on the St. Johns River, where it was always intended to go.
Yeah, so it gives you an idea of how things work, which I always like to find out. I didn't even know what a weir was. I'd never heard of a weir used in that context
Yes.
before.
We learned some things today.
So those stories, environmental stories, are so important. And I know sometimes people don't like to, to think about the environment. They just think, hey, it's here and it will always be here. But no, Paul always likes to break it down and he shows you, like, if you do A and B, C happens. Or if you don't do A, B, you don't get C.
It is the coolest thing about Florida. It is not Disney or anything else. Nature is the coolest aspect of this place. And I love the fact that what a big project. I feel like we don't do big projects anymore.
Yeah,
You look
yeah.
at like the Golden Gate Bridge,
Oh my
the
gosh.
Brooklyn Bridge, and you're like, when was the last time we built something
Who are
like
you, like,
that?
from the 1940s?
I am. Get the caissons back out.
Fast talker, high-waisted pants guy.
I do, but I just feel like those are cool projects.
Yeah.
And we used to dig out huge rivers and build railroads,
dredge things.
Well, this is the first project in a long time where we reversed water. We sent it in the other direction where we want it to go, where it then
very
gets
cool.
cleaned. And we've really done a disservice to the Indian River. I mean, it is.
I mean, you think about the Indian River, you think about the Everglades, all of these places, you know, they've had problems. I loved, it was years ago where we did a whole day dedicated to clean water here in Central Florida. And I, Ginger Gadsden, learned that the Everglades start here in Central Florida. You shut my mouth. I had no idea, but these are the things that you learn, and you should.
Yeah.
The day you stop learning, just it's over.
And if you said in the beginning, not everybody likes to talk about the environment. If you don't want to talk about water in the state of Florida, you want to talk about all this crap that really doesn't impact your life. Water here.
Take away clean water.
1,000 people moving here a day.
It's
we
not
have
an
an
endless
aquifer that is limited.
Sounds like it's an endless supply, doesn't it? It is
It
not.
ain't. You're right.
All right.
It does rain a lot here, and that does help us.
That's a different kind of water.
It is. This is true, but it seeps in down into the aquifer there. We have meteorologist Jonathan Kagas joining us now. We had some rain today in specific spots. Not everybody got it, right, Jonathan?
We did, yeah. We actually had it slide up a little bit further to the northwest than I was anticipating tonight. So we did have a good light show if you're watching the Orlando area and then pushing, looking to the west. We still at this hour even have a couple of downpours, mainly in Lake County, West Orange County. So there we go. So we haven't seen this in a couple of days. West side of Apopka getting a light shower, and there's nothing too strong out there. These are going to continue to push to the north and to gradually fizzle out, likely before they get to Marion County. I think tomorrow, though, the rain chances start to go up. We're kind of transitioning back out of our nice, pleasant weekend and start to the work week feel, back to how it should be. So I keep on bringing this up. Ginger mentioned last night, we just had that little turn of the corner.
We turned
that
again.
big, yeah, we're not talking about the International Speedway kind of turn just yet. That is coming. We know it's close. We got that taste. We're going to head back into more humid and stormy days coming through. Also coming up at 9:30, guys, there are 2 tropical waves that we are tracking out there. None of them have a threat to Florida, but I have a lot of stuff to show you. I have the models to show, and I've got the big steering pattern to show you why we don't have to worry about these 2 things, and things are looking good.
Yeah, that's what I like to hear, and I want to dig into this with you because we have a couple minutes here,
hit me.
Jonathan. So the reason that you had shown us that front that was right over Florida, has that moved? Where is that thing right now to help us when it comes to the tropics?
Yeah, so that front is kind of pushing, it's kind of still hanging down there, and that's gradually going to lift back up, and that's what's going to bring back our humidity. But I'll show you this. This is the upper level pattern, and we're going to break this down. This little donut hole that you see getting a little bigger near Bermuda.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be
that's
whatever the storm becomes. That's it. So that's the storm. This is Wednesday, September 4th. So these are the height lines. So the tighter the height lines that are together, the stronger the storm. So models are projecting this thing to get pretty strong as it lifts north of the Caribbean. So it should be close to no man's land, watching for a scrape in Bermuda. Most modeling wants to keep it away. But it's this thing right here. See all that blue? That's going to be a nice big trough for dipping the jet stream. And when we get these things down, it weakens this guy here, this area of high pressure, all that orange that you see the clockwise motion of the arrows. And that allows it to turn north. These things naturally want to move to the north. It's whenever there's a big chunk of high pressure north of them that push them into the United States. So we like when we have a nice trough there. And that's the one positive thing about getting a flurry of tropical activity late when they're staying north of the Caribbean, because once we get to September and October, we do have more of these cold fronts coming down from Canada to send these things packing. So that's the one positive thing about a late season push, like it looks like we're trying to get into. Because one other thing I'll show you if we have 2 seconds, and we'll get into this more. This is like the most thunderstorm activity I have seen in the Atlantic in a while. That's 92L. It's a big thing. It's broad. It'll take some time to get its act together. But this guy here, it's not highlighted. That one there is just a cluster of thunderstorms. And then we have a lot of thunderstorm activity in the Western Caribbean. So we're starting to pop that lid of that stableness, if you will, that we've had for most of the season. Don't like that. But there are no immediate threats out there to Florida or to the United States.
Okay, I'm glad you broke it down for us because I felt a cool breeze over the weekend, and I was like, Lord, let me get these Christmas decorations out of the attic.
It's time to start practicing my snow angel, says Ginger.
It's
I'm
close.
I've calmed down now, so
Thank
thank
you.
you, Jonathan.
All right, we appreciate you. Check him out at 9:30. He has a great weather show if you're into that
Okay,
stuff.
now to a story you teased earlier.
Yes. After the break, we are going to talk about an Ocean's 11 style robbery that ends with a wetsuit and a plunge into a lake. Stick around. We'll be right back. Welcome to News 6 Tonight. We are so thankful that you're joining us here wherever you found us.
Yeah, you know what this tells me? If you have made this your new streaming destination, it tells me you're smart. Also good looking, because you chose to watch the news in a different way. That makes you really smart. Anybody can give you the news from a teleprompter or an old newspaper. We do it in a fresh new way.
That's right. So check us out wherever you like to stream. We have this app for your TV, News 6 Plus. You can find it on Roku and Amazon and whatever your smart TV is cooking. So thank you. We would love to hear your comments down
Oh my
below.
gosh. Yeah.
And then we'll show them.
Yeah, we will. News 6 Plus. The plus is you.
Ooh. Hey, welcome back to News 6 Tonight. Glad to have you with us. Hopefully you're having a good evening, relaxing, winding down. Sometimes a story comes along that we're hearing about things before we can confirm them.
Yeah, exactly. And the details are really interesting. Like, please let this be true.
I mean, we didn't want someone to get robbed.
No.
But they already got robbed. So
We
were
can't
like,
help
maybe
that.
the details can be interesting. This sounds terrible. But all right, so this and we've confirmed those crazy details today. So Disney Springs, if you've ever been there, have you seen the Paddlefish restaurant?
Yeah, I know exactly
Big
what you're talking
boat.
about.
It's
Huge.
very impressive,
Huge.
cool looking. They're closing up for the night, and this guy comes in. Let's show you a picture of this dude. He looks crazy.
Scary.
It's hard to, I was like, what am I looking at first time I saw
Like
it?
a Muppet.
He has a wetsuit and it covers his face. And then he's got
Goggles?
these stupid little goggles on. That's him right before he spray paints the camera.
Yeah.
So he comes in, he had a plan, spray paints the cameras, comes to the people who are like packing up the money for the night.
Yeah.
And he goes, hey, get on the floor. You're giving me the money.
I already have a theory.
Do you?
It's an inside job.
You can't say that. We don't know. We don't know
We
that.
don't know. I said it's a theory. I didn't say it was a fact. Somebody knew.
We are journalists. I have a theory. I think Elvis did it. So we have no idea who did it. But so the guy tells the employees to get on the ground, takes all the money. But here's the crazy part. He uses the wetsuit to jump in the lake. Because Disney Springs is locked down.
Yeah.
You're not getting out of there without going through a security checkpoint.
Who would know that? Who would know how much security and how locked down that
I do
restaurant is?
not agree or co-sign on any of that. Maybe it was Ginger. I don't know.
I'm not getting into that.